We still have to operate each individual location like a small business. You got to know the people across the street from you. You got to know the manager of the restaurant next door. You got to know the vet down the road. We still have to operate every single one of these like it's the only one that exists, be in the community, and then work on the lowest attrition you possibly can.
Nick Garrity, what's up?
What is going on, man?
We're just talking about my new drink, not sponsored by Gorilla Mind. I just heard about this the other day on a different podcast from the same guy that our vendor Merrick Health owns. And I guess it's like a nootropic with caffeine. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm either going to start chasing you around the room or have them be really smart.
Which it is cold in here, so I could warm up a little hard today.
Do some laps.
I'm also down to try anything once, so let me know how it goes. I'm seeing thousands and thousands of milligrams of something, though. So
somebody's like, what's in it? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, why are you drinking it? I'm like, I don't know.
Why are you pushing your car home? You can drive it, right? Nah, I'm good.
A gorilla. So we'll see. So anyway, hopefully we'll make it through the podcast without doing something ridiculous. Did you bring a dad joke?
I do own, or I'm part owner in an indoor golf studio. We love golf, play it all the time. But, all my buddies keep asking why I bring 2 pairs of pants every time I play around. And I said, well, just in case I got a hole in one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I try to, as busy as we get, I still try to keep my dad jokes relevant. I also have a golf-related dad joke for you, knowing that you also are part of that concept, right?
Love it.
Nick's the consummate entrepreneur. So 3 golf clubs walk into a bar. The putter orders a beer, right? The wedge orders a tequila. And the third club says, none for me. I'm the driver.
Oh, yeah.
No, come on. I thought it was pretty good. Golf related.
I mean, it is good. It is good.
Okay.
This is the reaction you want to get from a dad joke, though. Not like dying laughing. You're like,
so bad.
That's
it's cringy.
Yeah.
Cringy. Hey, before we get started on the topic of the day, obviously you're a multi-unit alloy franchisee, but you also have a really interesting background. You're involved in this other concept and some other things. So you've been on before, but tell anyone who doesn't know you well, if they've been living under a rock, what is your background and how did you get to this point with alloy and what else do you have cooking?
Yeah, I grew up in a tiny town, middle of nowhere, Massachusetts, and realized, if I want to kind of go do something, I had to move to some big city and did an internship at Boston College and their strength and conditioning department, and then Tennessee, which was my eye opener into SEC football, and it was awesome. Didn't know anything about that, prior to coming down south. And then long story short, head strength coach at a D1 university in New York, then ran D1 sports training. The headquarters there was the director there.
And that's franchised as well for those that don't know.
Yeah, so that was my first foray kind of into franchise. I was like, because all it was to me was like, we're opening more locations. I'm like, this is cool. I get to train other coaches and see new cities and stuff. And literally it was like, that's how dumb I was. Like, I didn't realize I was franchising, but it was cool. And so then I moved to Atlanta. We started an indoor golf performance facility. We trained a bunch of PGA Tour players, and then a lot of old rich guys that thought they could be PGA Tour players.
Yeah, of course.
No, it was awesome. Learned a ton, but even there, I was like, let's build more of these because we had kind of this indoor country club kind of feel to it. So I was like, let's do it in Boston, let's do it in Chicago. And, I knew you could replicate it. And the owners, they had other things going on, didn't really want to do that. And so I said, all right, cool, I'll go do my own thing, and started to look at developing my own. And then actually one of my former clients talked me into working with him with a stretching company. So before Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone, there was another one that was developed. And because they had experience with another fitness concept, Orange Theory, where it was a great concept, people were working out a lot. Well, they weren't recovering quite as much as they needed and were losing flexibility. So smart, they said, well, let's build something that can, A, create some more revenue, but B, fix that problem. And so we had an amazing protocol. We had a lot of athletic trainers and massage therapists on staff because we did advanced stretching, and it was great. Again, it was opening multiple locations. I think we ended up at 17 of those across the country.
Like PNF stretching, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
active
cool.
assisted, all that.
Yep.
And so people would leave feeling like, holy cow, I feel amazing. So they loved paying for that service. The honest problem we had was it was such a good service, we couldn't have enough beds in the space or tables to work with people, and then people would book up so much they would get frustrated because they couldn't get in. So all the problems you want to have with a business, but then you would also have, and this is what we're seeing with Alloy sometimes, is you would have 3 really great practitioners, 3 decent that people would still see, and then 3 that you're kind of cycling through because they just weren't at the same level. So then you have a client that comes in and goes, well, I want the best. Well, the best is booked up, can't get in there. So then they go, well, I'll see that second best. And they're like, well, that's not really that good. And when you talk about consistency, I love that talk. We weren't delivering on that across all practitioners. And so now we're taking all the time to work on the ones that weren't performing well and not growing the business. And so it just became this vicious cycle of really, really good service, tough training people that weren't good at it. And anyway, the pandemic kind of put the kibosh on that too, because we couldn't do in-person hands-on stuff, work that we could. And, kudos to Stretch Lab and those guys that, withstood the storm and are still going and have a pretty good business. Honestly, I got to the point where we built sweat houses, so indoor sauna studios, another franchise membership model. Love that. Built a bunch of those all over the country. I literally by hand installed, I think, 77 saunas from Dallas to Boston, and loved it. I absolutely loved all that, and was, learning the rest of the business. So signing leases, negotiating on, TI and architects and all that. That's where I kind of grew into the entrepreneur side. I was like, man, I love learning about the business, and finally figured I was like, I think I know enough to be dangerous to go out and do it on my own. And I probably literally researched 500 franchises, and fortuitously, you guys had just converted into franchising. And I think it was actually an ad, and I text you and I said, hey, I'd love to come and talk. And 90 minutes later, you convinced me to become a franchisee, and the rest is history. I knew from day one, I did not want to just build one or two and, have kind of this little side hustle. Like, I can see this being big. I would love to be one of the, if not the largest franchisee. And so we've been trying to put things in place so that becomes a reality, and we're off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, and you've got some really savvy investment partners too that have like big scale in other areas, like 400 Hilton hotels and those kind of things, right? So it's like with that and then your operational power, that's like a perfect mix, really. And you also have the number one location in the whole system right now. And of course, you guys dance around with a couple of other locations, like month over month, but it's tight. But you're typically at the top, which is here in Chastain, right, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So props to you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Man, there's so many things that can make you really emotional about it, from members that have literally said you've saved their life. Not joking, but literally, like, my doctor said that if I hadn't done this in 6 months, there's a chance I'm not here. To my employees our employees that one guy, his car broke down. He's like, I can't fix it. It's not worth it. And he bought a new car. And he was just like, because he just got promoted from a part-timer into a head coach role, he's getting a salary, sharing in the profit. And I love that was an option for him, because a lot of trainers are like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get another cheap car and this and that. He's like, no, he went and just bought a brand new car. And it's not a Rolls Royce, but to him, it's great. And now he has, the security of a full-time position and honestly, the opportunity to keep moving up with us, because we want to keep growing these.
Oh, that's just cool that that's what you enjoy about it. Because there's the thing that we do is really compelling, to your point. There's the next level, right? I mean, for the end users, like, are we changing lives on a daily basis? It's so on the nose. It's so easy to see it. It's still very impactful, though, which is why we do the stories that we do and, bring the people to conference. But then there's the other level, and I agree with you. Like, you're providing opportunities for the people that work with you, right, and their families. Yeah. And then it's like, then there's you as an entrepreneur developing that side and then you're creating opportunities for your investor. So it's like, there's all this, like, I don't know. There's a huge cascading effect to everything.
It's just one of those things. Again, all credit to people selling insurance and things like that. Like, yeah, that's great, and
I agree.
I'm sure you can have a great life and impact lives too. Like, we literally are changing lives in very, very meaningful ways. For me, I've told you this before. Like, I work for our coaches, not the members. I love meeting the members and getting their stories, and there's some really, really cool stories that we have. But for me, it's me with the coaches, and we've said from day one, like, we want the lowest attrition in all Valley. That is what I want our sounding board to be. Like, I always want to be below 5%. I always want to have, retain the most amount of members, which means that you are delivering on what you're promising, right? You're giving the best coaching, you're getting results, people are enjoying the community. But for me, it's also the coaches. Like, I want to have the lowest attrition in coaches too.
I'll tell you, those two things are correlated for sure.
100% correlated.
Like, you got a ton of staff turnover, you're going to have higher turnover.
Not to say we haven't gone through a few, and
it's going to happen.
I try to live by that, hire slow, fire fast, and it's never easy. But man, I've seen too many stories like, yeah, I thought I could fix them, and I kept holding on, and the business suffers, right? And it's not necessarily that the team suffers as much, because, I did just put an ad out for Indeed for a part-time position. I had 38 applicants. So there is help out there. There are people that want to work for you. And now the brand is really making a name for itself.
Right.
We're attracting higher quality talent, and that's going to make it easier for all of us.
Let's just talk about the single location. So you've got the number one location in the system traditionally. Like, I think you spend the most time at the top. You mentioned staff retention. What else do you think are the keys? I mean, staff retention, client retention, because it really is a ramp and hold model, right? Like, if you build it out on paper, it's like, listen, if you've got debt service and everything else, you can speak to like what your break even would look like in that situation, how you're like a top performing studio. How does that look for you? And what do you think the keys are? You mentioned people. Is there anything else that you think the keys? And
let's stick to the people thing for a second, because you guys have Alloy core values. I didn't have to actually recreate our own core values I just said, these are the core values.
Right.
Like, this is what makes sense as a coach here at Alloy. So when we interview somebody, I take them through the 5 core values. And number 1 for me is the unimpeachable character, right? But sincere candor's in there. And so not only do we want really high quality people, but you can have a really great person that doesn't even know what they're doing or isn't following through on the most important things. And so we have sincere candor, but that doesn't come from, or you can't deliver that if you don't have trust built up, and trust comes from communication. And so we stress a lot of communication. We have, multiple ways that we're constantly talking about how the studio is doing, what events are coming up, even from the clients and things that they're struggling through. I mean, we have, a family that is going through some really difficult things. We buy gifts for them, but everybody knows that we're doing that. And so all of that trust is built on a lot of communication. I'm in the studios every single week. I was talking to one of the other owners here. I love going to training, seeing what you guys are improving upon. And man, it's come a long way in just a couple of years. But sitting with one of the owners, and I said, well, here are the KPIs that I actually show our directors, because I want them to see that we need them to run a small business. Yes. Are they amazing coaches? Do they love that and that's their passion? Absolutely. But if we want to grow and get more and more students, they have to realize it is still a business. And the faster we can get to where we're turning marketing dollars off and have more members and more revenue coming in, and we control expenses, which there aren't a lot of variable costs, the better the business is. And so if they just operate in the silo of, all I have to do is just coach and make sure people are happy, it's no. There's a reason you're not spending hundreds of dollars on supplies and $100 on this and that. And if we can control that and get the most efficient model we can all make more. And then for us, it's not just we're greedy to make, that allows us to build more studios. That allows us to hire more coaches and change more lives.
I was about to say, and then again, we just talked about the cascading effect. How many lives are affected by that? Yeah. I mean, obviously the end users, you got the team members, you got your investors, you have your life, your family. It's yeah, man, it's all good. I mean, it really is like a win-win, because the thing that we do is so good, right, on the back end, that you can feel great about it. Even when you're working your ass off, it's it's worth it, right?
And then back to kind of that, when we've been fortunate enough to be offered the opportunity to buy a couple of studios that weren't performing well. And when you look at what is not happening versus what is happening in a successful studio, it's typically communication.
I was about to say, what is that? So I want to ask you more about that. So that's something that you guys have done, is you'll look and obviously you guys want speed. You want, in multiple studios, speed through acquisition is usually easier than developing your own, and you guys are doing both. When you look at the number one unit, right, in the whole system, which you own, and then you guys take over a unit that's maybe underperforming and the person just hasn't figured out how to crack it. You started to tell me already, but what are the distinct differences, the obvious things that you see? Yeah,
I mean, the team is running the play really, really well, right? And so when you walk in, they're not doing the warm-up the right way. They don't communicate about each client, not at a really deep level, but hey, the most important things are, this person has a knee injury or a hip replacement or a shoulder surgery. And when the value of that client coming in and meeting one coach for their SPS and their first workout, and then the next coach seeing them on a different day, knowing the exact same amount of information is so impactful. And that's where they build trust. The client builds trust in that. I've heard that they're pretty good at this, but then it's a professional experience.
Yeah. Well, you say what you're going to do, and then you deliver on the thing you said you're going to do. That's the trust, right?
But even so, I think some people come in with an expectation that it's a workout. Okay, they're probably going to check. But when you do something no other facility is going to do, and that's what I tell our team, I want you to deliver on something where if they do cancel and go somewhere else, they come back and go, they weren't even close to the level that you guys delivered on, right? Mm-hmm. I want them to have an experience that they would never get anywhere else. And you think it's it's just a personal training studio. It's no. We have things that you guys have put in place with the different technology, the way that we can communicate. If you truly deliver on that, they won't get this anywhere else. And that's what's going to make this brand always stand out. And so whatever we can do to help bring that into a studio that's struggling, or talk to another director or another owner about, man, this is the simple things that we're just really consistent about. You deliver on a consistent basis, a really high level experience that our clients are looking for. No offense to 20-year-olds, 15-year-olds and stuff that are working out. Our members are typically 45 and up. Our professionals, they're used to a high level experience. So we have to deliver on that. The studio's got to be clean. They got to know your name. They got to know when you're, if you're going to be out for a week or 2 weeks, not texting you are you showing up today? It's no, I told you I wasn't going to be here. So when we go in and we look at a studio that is underperforming, they don't communicate about the clients. They don't talk about schedules. Maybe they're not even showing up on time, or they're last minute, right? It's the little things that you have to do to execute at a high level that we just say, hey, this is the standard, and you've got to meet the standard. And one of that is just communication. Every single one of our studios is in an app. We use GroupMe. Every single day we put 4 KPIs in there. How many SPSs? How many new members did you get? Did anyone cancel? And how many members do you have? So that if we walk in to any one of the studios, they know exactly how many members they have that day. And I've probably told them the goal is to get to Maybe it's 75 at one point, and then it's 100 at one point, and then they understand, well, at 110, that's where we start to bonus everybody. So we have a profit share system for every one of our coaches in the studio. I want the part-timer to feel like, oh, I have they don't get that anywhere else. You don't go LA Fitness, Crunch, right? Like, you don't get to share in the profit, and there's a lot of profit, and they're like, well, why don't I get? So in here, it's like, well, if you have a direct impact on the revenue we're making, and although you don't control many of the expenses, you should get a little piece of that. And man, the buy-in that you get from that part-time coach that goes, now, well, how fast can I be a head coach?
Right.
And how fast can I be a director?
Right.
That's how we keep that attrition down.
Well, it's a career path. There's some ascension.
And
that does not exist.
Exactly.
Well, you've been in it, right?
Dude, I ate what you killed, worked 60 hours a week. and like, that client doesn't show up, and you're like, well, there's $50 out of my pocket.
Yep.
In this case, for us, I pay our staff the entire shift, whether it's one person or 6 people that come in.
Right.
Now, can we live off of one person? No. And they understand that. And we say, we got to get to 100 members. Then we got to get to 110. The whole game changes at 130. You guys send an award out. That's justified. It's awesome. We're blessed that we have 158 in one of our studios, and it's making really, really good money. But everybody knows in our team, like, hey, 110 is our number, because you start to get bonus on that, because we know at that point
you're making good.
We're making
it's all
money.
Profit.
We're making money. Does it get better and better at 120, 130, 140? 100%. And again, we in our best studio, we haven't spent $1 on marketing this entire year. So think about that profit. That's an exponential, just because you're saving a few grand a month and not having to send it all, because we have referrals and we have wait lists and we have people that are just literally almost begging to come in. And so
that's the model, ultimately.
It's awesome.
Now, granted, that's the gaudy, perfect example, but it can be done. And I mean, to your point, it's interesting to hear you say the difference between that 158 crushing, right, to maybe 75 not, right? It's like, what's the difference? It's like, well, they're just running the play with integrity, doing it and communicating well. Yeah. And it's really basic. It's not easy, but it's really basic.
It's not easy, but it's easy now. I mean, honestly, those guys that are there, I mean, they are, all they're doing is coaching, having member socials. We have a really cool thing. We've got a physical therapist coming in Saturday. He's going to talk about some shoulder stuff. We got 15 or 17 members signed up to come to that. Right after, we're doing a little holiday party with the members. So now we got 30 more people coming for a holiday party. And our coaches, I kid you not, every single member comes up to me going, I love these guys so much. I love these coaches so much. Don't ever lose these coaches. Again, like most other gyms, you're not going to have that. You're not going to have people bragging about and scary. Like if that guy goes, I go. And I said, don't worry, we're taking care of him. And then on the flip side, we recently took over a studio that was, really underperforming, and they have the hope though, because now they're seeing, oh, well, they took a studio from the ground, got it to here, and it didn't happen overnight. Like, it was a year before we got, 120 or so, but now that it's there, we can show that hope not only to inside of our network, but other owners and franchisees that, we get calls about, well, how you doing this? How you doing that? And I think there's so much value in that. And ideally, man, we keep it right there, and we got another studio, right on the cusp of it, almost at 130. So you guys get that award signed up. It's going to be coming soon.
Dude, I'll be giving them all. I'll give you the whole box.
So
I want you to have all of them.
Yeah.
So if you had to say succinctly as possible, what is the key to multi-unit ownership? Because you're involved in groups. You've been involved in many groups that have done it. Yeah. You're now doing it as a franchisee. Like, what do you think the keys are?
One of the words that is just trusting your gut, and being an owner and doing the workouts, to me, is so valuable. I'm in the studios. I'm in one of our studios almost every day, and I go in the workout. I watch how they perform the warm up. Are they starting to do a little bit of individualization with that? And then how are they executing? I'm watching clients that are kind of sitting there like waiting. Hey, are you gonna coach me right now? Or some clients are like, yeah, I'm happy that they're not talking to me right now.
Right.
I'm kind of chilling a little bit, and then they meet them where they're at. The best coach we have. I mean, I feel like every single person that walks in at every single hour, he asks how they're doing that hour, not how you doing this week. Oh man, this is you're having a great month. It's like, how are you today? Because some of our clients wake up like, hey, my neck's all jacked.
Yeah, you get to that age where you sleep weird and you can't walk.
And the value in that, right? And so that kind of that inherent like building of trust every single workout, where the client really feels like, man, this guy has my best interest at heart. Like, that is what's going to keep them coming for a long time. And they're actually going to get results because, like, all right, I trust him. He's always asking how I'm doing, modifying anything I need.
Right.
You got to go with your gut. And when you see that coach that just doesn't get it, either immediately deliver that candor, right? Have that walk. And I know after our Allied conference, people are like, oh, you're the guy that takes walks. So I'm like, yeah. So I'll literally take one of our coaches and say, hey, let's do a little walk outside and we'll talk. And I always try the sandwich method, right? So deliver some good stuff. Hey, you did a great job with this client. I love how this happened or that. And then deliver the bad. Like, man, you've got to deliver on this one. Don't start creating crazy random things because you think it looks good, but now your other coach doesn't even know that you're doing something. The client's not asking, why is he doing it different, right? The consistent experience is really important. And then finish with something positive, like, man, I can't wait to promote you. I can't wait for you to be the next head coach, right? So try the sandwich method, have sincere candor, but all that starts with the gut. And I don't think you can get a good intuition without being in the studio. Now, Chastain, I might be there 2 hours a week.
Right.
I don't need to be there
what
because
would it look like if you had 20? Like, how would you manage that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to groom somebody right now to be a regional.
There you go.
He's actually here at training.
So you're scaling you then, essentially.
100%.
Right.
And my directors, I meet with them every other week, one-on-one. There's a director meeting every single Monday, and then they have their individual staff meeting. So I'm typically meeting with them at least 3 times in a personal way. I have 2 in mind that I think could immediately go into a regional role. So that's always in the back of our head, like not just the individual studio and how it's performing, but man, how do we keep scaling? And if we potentially go to a new city, like that's a whole new hurdle that we've got to get over that I love looking forward to, but it's also daunting. It's like, yeah, man, I've got to make sure that we've got a team that if I'm ever not here, this runs itself. And I know that when you talk about kind of absentee ownership, like the true test is like, if you disappear for 3 months, not only does it stay open, but like, does it continue to improve? Does it continue to grow?
That was my next year. Yeah, you parlayed that perfectly. Like semi-absentee ownership in this model. We talked about having Eric Van Horn on, who I really like, and he's on the franchisor and franchisee side. He's been in franchising forever. And he's like, I've never really seen an absentee franchise, right? Like the way it works is like you have investor partners, right? And you're the operational partner. And then you'll have to scale yourself eventually because it's like there'll be layers to the whole thing, right? But let's say that you purchased like 3 alloy territories, right? And you want to keep your day job. It's going to be almost impossible to run 3 different territories while having a day job. It's just a lot of work. You're managing managers, right? And you just talked about it. What do you do? Well, you're in facilities and you're going around, you're having these meetings, and you can't do that while traveling, 6 days or 5 days a week on the road, Monday through Friday. It's just not going to work. That's completely passive. If you're going to do that, you would have to have an operational partner in there running the thing.
And the odds of you finding that one unicorn that can do it completely independently and you're not getting any oversight, good night. It's hard. But I think if you set the stage early on and how much communication it requires and knowing the KPIs and them having more of that small business mindset as a director, I think will help that in an exponential way so that you can quickly get to that growth and have the trust and understanding, from the individual location into a region of 5 or 6 or 7 or however many can be run by, kind of a regional director. But it starts with them understanding like, what are the most important things you got to do? And if I'm the one right now saying I'm trusting my gut and my intuition by being in the studio, well, guess what? The next guy better have that on his calendar that he's going to these studios, auditing, watching the sessions, looking at ops, looking at the communication with the clients, and are we checking all the boxes that deliver a very, very consistent experience? And that's, man, that the haircut, talk that you, it is so true. And it's funny because you can flip it from, if somebody delivers at a 1 or 2 out of a 10, like obviously horribly bad. But if somebody's trying to do a 9 or 10, but the rest of the team is a 5 or 6,
you're better off doing a 5 or 6.
That disrupts it too. And the good thing about Alloy is I
5 or 6 is like light years ahead of any other brand.
But I think we operate at 8 or 9.
Right.
And that's the thing is like in our profession, like what our clients are getting, I think they think it's an 8 or 9. So just stay at that. And be very consistent. And I was just talking to the group of trainees here, and it's fun, like having the experience of going, guys, oftentimes our coaches get bored because you feel like you keep doing the same thing over and over. Well, guess what? That client's coming in for 2 or 3 hours a week. We know that's what they need to get done what they need to get done, but for them, it's new every time. And sometimes we just kind of get bored, like, well, maybe I should switch this up. It's like, no, that is actually a detriment. Just run the play really, really well. This is a service business. They've got to enjoy the time that they're with you.
Put all your juice into like making them have a great time.
100%. I mean, and the surprisingly personal gifts, man. We've had some really cool interactions with that. Oh my gosh,
that's like my favorite thing ever.
But for the client or for the coach to be thinking about that and looking for the opportunity to say, hey, this person's struggling with something.
Who are we going to love on this week? It's like it makes them look for opportunities to create these amazing uplifts in customer experience, right? 100%. Just having the structure makes them have to think about it. And that alone is the exercise, I think. Because then everyone's thinking about, well, so-and-so's kind of hurting right now. Like maybe we should, or they're having some, their parents are struggling right now. Maybe we should give them this. Whatever those things are, it's awesome.
We just had a conference a few months ago. Loved it. I was honored to speak up on stage. So
you killed that, by the way.
Well, I love talking, as you guys can probably understand. What I took away from that, though, is that this brand, although it's so good, like we still have to operate each individual location like a small business.
It's got to be your local neighborhood gym.
I mean, 100%. You got to know the people across the street from you. You got to know the manager of the restaurant next door. You got to know, the vet down the road. And that's what I came back with. I said, guys, we still have to operate every single one of these like it's the only one that exists.
Right.
The brand is great and they give you all the support that you need. But if you think you can just open the doors and the sign is going to send people in,
build it and they will come, thing does not work. Yeah.
Be in the community and then work on the lowest attrition you possibly can. And that's by having the personal gifts. That's by having the member socials and the challenges. And I told you this before, like I looked at those challenges like, what a joke. These are so, and after we started doing those challenges, I'm like, guys, everybody does every single challenge, every single quarter.
Exactly, right.
Because our clients still want to feel supported. Right? They still want to feel like a kid inside. Like, oh man, they noticed that I did this extra stuff outside of here.
Right.
And I kid you not, we have members saying, hey, I just did a walk 3 times this week. I better get my 3 stickers when I come in. I'm not joking. Like, and so we put it on the big poster board and they see their stickers and it's so much fun.
Just gamifying.
So again, kudos to the stuff that, you guys have put this stuff in place because it's tried and true and it works.
Yeah.
And so when you go and look at a studio that's not performing well,
they're not doing those things.
They're not doing challenges.
Right.
They're not doing member socials. Hey, guess what? When you do the challenges, the member socials, the business grows, and then you get referrals.
Well, we heard you guys too, because it was like, hey, we have now a marketing coordinator essentially who's basically just internal, who will constantly keep feeding you guys like, hey, it's that time of year, building out the whole calendar for you guys next year, making sure we're 8 weeks ahead of time. Don't forget this, and then there's links to where the assets are. And the assets will be updated, and we're going to do now we can do goofy stuff that we all should be doing. It's like, hey, I think August is like National Dog Month. It's like, let's do alloy dogs of the month and just have members take pictures and post them up in the gym. Just there's so many opportunities to do really cool things like that, right?
And they
just
love
have to be organized. Yeah, they love it. It's easy for us.
It's not like you're just like, oh, let's try this crap. It's like, no, we've done this a million times. Please copy and paste. But to your point, we are humans. Working with humans, training humans. We're lazy, we forget. And so sometimes you just need to put that person and says, hey, remind them to go and do this. Not because we're trying something different or like we just think it might work. It's like, we know this works. Please run this play and run it well.
Well, it's cool when you do it. It's good. To me, this is the most gratifying thing. I sit down with someone who basically is saying what I would say, but it lands different when it's a franchisee who's in the trenches doing it, even though I've done it for 400 years. It's like, listen, we just run the play. We run it really well. We do it with integrity. You've touched on all the things, right? It's like, golly, like that's it. It's that simple. There's always like when you don't just do the thing, they're always grasping for there's got to be something else. There's a home run hit. There's a one thing. There's a one marketing hook. And it's like, no, it's just blocking and tackling really well over and over again. But once you get a hold of it, it's like, oh, then you sort of like pull the veil back and it's like, oh, the model is really about, there's a time when you're selling the shit out of it, but there can be a place where you shut marketing down and you just do fitness, right? And that's when it's really fun and also very profitable. So that's the place to be, right? But
it's so rewarding, man. And it's not just about the money for us. Like we can just go out story after story after story of clients that are like, you've absolutely changed my life. And I get to brag about the one guy, he's 62. I think he's 63 now because he sent a photo last year and he bought a dirt bike with the full outfit. And he's like, I haven't ridden a dirt bike since I was 25 and I couldn't wait to do this. He sent us a photo. He's like, I'm doing this trail. I'm doing this.
Awesome.
It was so cool. I know you're a bike guy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
You're old, but this guy's older than you. And so, no, literally, he bought a dirt bike. He went out. I can't wait to do this.
I'm ready to get back into this.
We have an 84-year-old that still rides horses competitively, rides horses. He sent a video. He's like, look at me. And he's like, this is the motion. And he's showing us the squat motion that he sits on the horse, literally doing. And he correlates that and goes, if I wasn't doing this with you guys, I can't ride this horse. I can't do what I love doing with all my buddies. And now he's kind of telling them, hey, if you guys want to keep doing this when you're 84, 85, guess what? There's a solution. Go meet these guys. So,
and then you look at all the talking heads and all the scientists that are like full on preaching to the choir right now, singing our praises of what our prescription is for anti-aging, which is, it's a good time to be us. That's for sure.
Nothing supports our in-person service that we have, man. I mean, nothing is better than the in-person service that we have, that we are literally doing exactly what this clientele needs. And yes, can you add to it by red light therapy and saunas and things? 100%. We are convinced this is the most important thing they can do.
Yeah, I agree. So let's say 5 years from now, Nick, ideally things keep cranking for you guys. What would that look like for you down the road?
I'm so hopeful that we continue to build. We're under development in our 5th location. That's why we're here right now. There's an opportunity to possibly take a couple of locations under our umbrella, help them operate a little bit better. I mean, for me, it's definitely, double digit studio. Now, my goal has been 50 locations. When we get open in January, that's 10% there. I think there's obviously a lot of white space left all over the country, all over the world for Alloy. It's a simple model. It's a small space. Like, I know you guys revise your numbers with how many you can open. Like, yeah, absolutely. Let's roll. So a lot of availability for a lot of us, multiple states. So I've lived in Nashville for a little bit, loved Nashville. Florida has a lot of our clientele there. Can't get there fast enough. So we're keeping eyes on quite a few different cities.
I hope you do 200, dude. I really do.
Well, I like that sound.
Bonus question for you before I let you go. And for Sage, I mean, great. I can't believe I haven't had you on like once a week for the last few years. This has been great. If you could tame any wild animal, what would it be and why?
I immediately go to like a lion or a tiger.
How boss would that be, just sitting there petting your tiger?
I mean, like a lion, like, and then literally when somebody doesn't do, and you just say, "Hey, roar,"
right?
And the whole like city is like, "Oh my gosh, there's a lion here." You know what I mean? Like, but then they're like purring and stuff, and it's like, "Oh, this guy's pretty cool." Yeah, like,
well, you could tame it, but you could still use it as a weapon if you want.
I mean, tame it means like you kind of have control of it, right? It doesn't mean it's just like subdued. It's like, no, if you need it to,
It's like a really big feline Belgian Malinois. Like, walk that thing at the park.
Get some sincere candor.
Walk that thing at the park. Yeah, exactly. All right, brother. Well, listen, we appreciate you. Appreciate insight. It's like you're nailing it. Again, #1 studio. I hope you guys got something out of it. I would say reach out to Nick. I know a lot of people do. So I know he's busy running his own studios, but I'm sure if you bump into him somewhere, he is on the Franchise Advisory Council as well. So very involved. We appreciate you, man, 100% with the brand, and thanks for making us look good.
Well, right back to you. 30, however, 100 years you guys have been doing this. Literally, there's so many things you guys have put in place that, man, if people just run the play really well, have the passion behind it, they're going to do big things, and we're happy to help. Whatever we can do to move the needle, man.
Yeah, onward and upward, my friend.
Let's go.
All right, cheers.
All right.